And some creditors are reportedly ignoring bankruptcy court orders to void debts. In fact, thousands of Americans who filed personal bankruptcy continue to face their discharge debts for up to 10 years. The Justice Department is now investigating some of the nation's largest banks for violating federal bankruptcy laws, but the banks insist they are complying with all federal laws in their collection and sale of those debts. Seth Berenzweig is a business law expert and joins us now from Washington, D.C. to talk us through this. Seth, welcome to Arise America. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Okay, so apparently what is happening is people, for whatever their reasons, seek bankruptcy, are granted bankruptcy, and then a certain amount of their debt is forgiven. And as I understand it, and you explain it better than I can, then there are instances where banks will still require those people to pay certain debts, or they won't remove them from their credit report. Is that it, basically?
Yes, there's a report that the Justice Department, through the Office of the United States Trustee, is engaging in an investigation of some of the big banks, for example, J.P. Morgan and Citibank and Bank of America, looking into allegations that the big banks are not granting what is known as a bankruptcy discharge. Rather than honoring a bankruptcy court order that's supposed to be discharging the debt, the allegations in the investigations are that they're keeping it on the books, reporting it to the credit agencies, and therefore trying to squeeze the payments out of people, even though the debts are no longer allegedly owed.
This seems crazy to me, Seth. How are they able to do this, and why isn't this illegal?
Well, if the allegations turn out to be true, you're right, and it is illegal. It may also be a criminal violation, but at a minimum, it would be a violation of a court order. The bankruptcy order of discharge is a court order, and violating that would be contempt of court, which is quite serious. So in this kind of a situation, if it turns out to be true, this is a financial nightmare for the consumers that never end, but it could quite also be a very serious sanction and penalty situation for some of the big banks.
And help me, I just want to make sure that I clearly understand this. In these instances, particularly that were quoted in a couple of the articles that I read today, when consumers went to the bank realizing that some debt had not been removed from their credit report so they could get a job or get a mortgage or whatever the case might be, they were told by the bank that if they made payments on this debt, then the bank would conveniently remember to remove it from the credit report. Isn't that blackmail?
Well, if the allegations on that are true, it's not only blackmail, but it's also illegal, and it violates a number of aspects of the bankruptcy code and other federal laws. It demonstrates, if that turns out to be so, that the banks are not only just acting in a negligent fashion, but they're just being reckless. They're holding it on the books, and they're just trying to squeeze these people for debts, even though they've already been discharged in bankruptcy. So it'll be very interesting to see how this investigation turns out.
And does this happen more often with the primary holder of the debt? Because very often banks sell off their debt at a discount, and then there seems to be some sort of collaboration or collusion, you choose the word, about collecting on this debt that has been forgiven. Is that part of the complexity here?
It is, and I also agree that the genesis of the problem was with originally the bank that had provided the loan or that has the debt. What the banks do, as far as this investigation is focusing, is that they don't wipe out the debt, they don't honor this order of discharge, and then they just bundle them up and then they sell them to a third party. Now, the third party creditor could play dumb and just say that they just bought it as an innocent purchaser and they didn't know. But at the end of the day, consumers have to be aware of this investigation, look at their credit report, and be aware that this is a practice that may be going on out there and could have devastating consequences.
Indeed. It's really a shame for those who are going through it. We'll have to leave it right there for now. Seth Berenzweig, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And you're watching Arise America.